What happens if your home on wheels needs repairs done?
And those repairs are gonna take several days or maybe even weeks.
In this video, we're gonna talk about managing being displaced from your RV, your home on wheels. As you can see, we are not living in our RV, and we're gonna be out of it for 3 weeks.
Yes, we are. So we have some experience with this topic and things we wish we did differently during the whole process. If this is your first time here, welcome!
Hello.
We are HappilyEverHanks.
And we make all that entertaining content to help you transition into the RV life.
Woo! Be sure to check out all of our other content when this video is over because we have a lot of good stuff out there. We don't hold back.
So right now, currently, our home on wheels is in the shop, and we're waiting for all the repairs to get done.
That's really good to talk about because timing is important.
It's huge.
With this whole thing.
It's huge.
That is if you can control the timing, meaning you have repairs that are non-urgent. Maybe a tree didn't fall on your roof, but there's a ton of things in your RV that need to be fixed, and you're able to be a little more flexible with when they get fixed.
I like that because the RV life is kind of like not one size fits all.
Chaotic.
It's chaotic. And this could happen to someone, and then this could be a totally different situation for another.
Luckily, we also had a little bit of time because we were able to still live in our RV even though a tree fell on it. I was trying to think of a song to sing right after that, but nothing came to mind, so time after time. Usually the best time to get repairs done in your RV is off season. I know a lot of people have a hard time getting things done in their RV, you know, during the months of like May, June, July. That's peak season.
That's prime time, baby. But need not be worried because we're gonna bring you some awesome tips that we are currently going through and molding and just hand feeding it to you guys.
If you created a nice little laundry list of repairs that need done, I would maybe consider getting them done in November versus June.
If it's not urgent, plan around the season.
Also, call your service center that you plan to go to and ask them. Maybe they'll say, hey, it's really busy in the wintertime because everybody drops their rigs off in the wintertime. So don't just take our advice, call them.
Say, what's up? The Hanks sent me your way, and I want to know the 411 on when I could get in. Another minor tip we can bring you is don't just call one service center, call multiple, because this one could be overwhelmed, yet this one is like, hey, I actually got an opening within the next month. We could sneak you in.
Oh, yes.
Hey, weigh your options.
And some dealerships are short on parts, and some areas are not.
Which is
all
huge.
Depends.
That's a huge thing because when you make the call and you actually get that scheduled appointment booked, you need to start thinking ahead in terms of, are they gonna need to order parts for you?
Oh, that's a big one. So a lot of these places, when they make the appointment for you, that's the appointment for them to like first look at everything and then decide what parts they're gonna order.
You don't want to be stuck in the scenario where you finally get in and you're like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to get repairs. And they're like, well, we haven't even looked at your RV, we don't know what we need. And now it's just pushed that much further down the road. Mobile
techs are becoming more and more popular like every year because of this lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely.
So ask the service team, the service center, if they have any techs that could come look at your RV. Be like, hey, what's up? I live in this full time and I don't want to be displaced from this thing for too long.
If I hear you on that, I'm hanging up on you. I don't like that salty attitude.
Hello?
Think of a mobile service repair technician as kind of like one of those guys that just are like your middlemen. Like they're so much more flexible than the service repair centers. They have different time frames. They could be like, yeah, I'll just sneak over real quick, take a little bit of a look and see if we can get maybe some more details on what needs to actually get worked on.
But not only could they come look at it and order parts, but sometimes they can come and run a whole diagnostic.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
Don't ask me how they do that.
I wasn't gonna.
Did you just ask? I told you not to. During this day and age, there is a shortage on parts and like service techs. So please don't call them and say, the Hank said you need to be sending someone out here to look at my RV.
Yeah.
We're just saying call to see if that's an option.
Another thing that the dealership can work off of, like they did in our scenario, was instead of sending someone, we took detailed pictures and documented those pictures and shipped them over.
Videos too.
Videos
are great because pictures sometimes don't do justice.
And listen, these service repair people are well equipped with understanding, that looks like you're gonna need a new sidewall panel, a new rear panel, a new roof. So like in terms of just getting a quick eye assessment on what's going on, pictures and videos are nice.
The more you tell them, the better. You also need to be stressing about the time frame. Talk to them about how long this is realistically gonna take.
A lot of these things that we're gonna be talking about, you're gonna have to be your own advocate. I mean, the ball's in your court, and we're just helping you understand that if you leave it in their court, nothing's gonna get done. So you need to figure out, is this gonna take multiple weeks, months, or is this only gonna take a few days? Get a general ballpark idea from the service repair center.
Don't forget to share with them that you're living full-time in your rig. Sometimes they just assume it's like your vacation rig and you're just dropping it off and you won't need it for several months. Like, you need to stress, like, this is my home and I need to know how long we're gonna be out of this.
Yes.
So I can book a place to stay. But we'll get into that later. We're gonna talk all about how to find the perfect place for you to stay.
Nice. And if this is your first time to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, because every Thursday we are bringing you super valuable content related to transitioning into this lifestyle.
Yes.
We'll help you out.
And if you enjoy Thanks Hanks Thursday already, let us know below in the comments.
Snapola. One thing that personally hits home for me, because I'm a little like that, I like to stay super organized with things, especially amidst all this chaos.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and organization is key. I'm gonna lay it all on the line. It's key.
You just
to
went,
remaining.
you went there.
I went there, and I'm staying there.
After you're done making all these fun appointments and talking to people back and forth, you want to make sure you're keeping track of all these conversations.
Yes.
Emails are great, but if you're having phone conversations, you can make a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet.
Type out the names of the people you're talking to, their extension numbers, so you can make quick contact with them if something were to arise and you need to give them more information or refer back to them. You like that one? Especially an email folder separate from all the rest of your email, because you get a laundry list of things going on in your email, but you need to have a designated folder you can refer back to according to this incident.
If you're talking to like a different person every day at the service center, please write their names down and keep track so that everybody's on the same page.
Click and drag all these documents over to that folder that you've created, and it's gonna save you so much time and frustration. And on top of the names and extensions and all that jazz, write down some dates and some times of when you actually had these conversations with every individual.
Oh, that's good. Not just the date and time of your appointment, but when you had these conversations for sure.
That's what I just said.
I love that. You're teaching me something new. Did I do that? I don't even know.
I don't think
This
so.
is why we're making this video, so you don't make the mistakes we made. This next part was probably the most stressful part for me.
Would you say it kind of like it hits home? Because this is home now.
And a tree hit it.
I'm gonna say that's spot on.
All right, you know the dates and times, and you have it all organized. Nice job. So let's now figure out where you're gonna stay. Like, this is the part where you're actually displaced.
Oh man.
Where are you gonna displace to?
And that was a really big concern for us personally, because we're full time on the road. So where are we just gonna take all of our stuff? What's gonna happen to our stuff that stays in the trailer?
What's gonna happen to Dexter?
Our cat. And if you never met our cat,
He's right there.
he's underneath the blankets hiding from the world.
He thinks if he hides there, that nobody will get him.
All right, so the first major tip we're gonna throw out there, first Thanks Hanks tip, is do what we did. Reach out and say, hey, do you guys have a loaner rig we can stay in since
Oh,
we're full time on the road? We have nowhere to go. Do you guys have any extra rigs we can live in?
They might have one sitting around, and they just might not offer to people unless they ask. So.
Totally, and it never hurts to ask. Don't be afraid of being told no.
Another tip is to ask them where they recommend you stay.
Oh yes.
They're the ones that are familiar with the area, so they're gonna know which hotels, you know, are pet friendly if you have little furry ones with you.
The fur babies.
And which, you know, hotels are the best to stay at.
Imagine that all this stuff with being moved out of your RV is not gonna happen at the convenience of your hometown. I mean, you're probably going to be on the road. You're probably going to not know anything about the surrounding areas. So rely on the people that actually know what's up.
You may have noticed we are currently in a hotel room.
Yeah,
Yay.
I did notice.
Hotels are great if you're doing like a short term. Maybe your rig is only going to take a couple days, you know, less than a week.
Yeah.
They're great.
A couple of the cons, I would say, is they don't have all the amenities that you would normally find in like Airbnbs and all that jazz.
Yes, which we'll talk about next. Yeah, you are pretty much looking at going out to eat every day, which can be expensive.
You're not gonna have like utensils, you're not gonna have like a sink to wash dishes in and all that stuff. So you're kind of left to fend for yourself.
I guess I don't have to say you're gonna be in a smaller space because we're already used to being in a smaller space, so don't even worry about that one.
You got that one covered. But let's say that you're not looking for just a couple nights. You're looking at like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be multiple weeks like us. Like we're stuck for 3 weeks not living in our home.
Thanks, Hanks.
Nice.
I love Airbnb and VRBO. They're like similar programs that you can use to find rental properties.
Nice.
Some of these are apartments, condos, or like an entire house you could rent out.
That's really cool.
They have an app for it on your phone, so it makes it really easy to find a place to stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of them are even less expensive than hotels and offer more amenities.
That's really cool. So you can actually break away and get like a bigger place to stay in if you have pets and stuff. So you got kids, everyone can be a little more relaxed than the hotel environment would be able to provide you.
Now make sure you are searching for properties that are pet friendly if you do have pets. And a little thanks Hanks tip, if you have a cat, make sure you look at the fine print because some of these places will say pet friendly, but what they mean is just dogs.
Huge. So what we've been doing is every time we see this, we'll just send a quick message to the Airbnb host and say, hey, we have a little kitty, we have, you know, our little furry baby with us. Can you accommodate that? And usually they're like, yeah, no problem. Once again, weigh your options out there, do your own homework and be your own advocate. Make some calls.
Another place you could stay at, which I stumbled upon during my research, is actually campground cabins.
Really?
I forgot that when you go to some of these RV parks and campgrounds, they have furnished cabins that you can stay in. And a lot of them are pet friendly too.
That's really cool. And do they have like sinks?
Yeah, a lot
stuff
of
like
them,
that? A refrigerator?
Well, some of them are like very primitive and may only have a bed and like no running water.
Yeah.
But you can find ones that have, you know, one bed, one bath, a kitchen, a living room, just everything you need.
Well, come to think of it, now that you mentioned that, we actually use that program AllStays Pro, and that has been our favorite go-to while on the road over the past 4 years. I mean, everything we need from booking reservations, managing how we're gonna get there, all the accommodations that they offer. So if you wanna check out more information on AllStays Pro, look in the description below. We'll list it right there for you.
Yeah, because AllStays Pro is how I found all these campgrounds.
And free electrical hookups across, like there are places out there literally that have free electricity for you to use for like a couple nights. You're not paying campground fees. Also, if you guys are looking for more great tips when it comes to things like AllStays Pro and other apps that we use that have been lifesavers for us out on the road, we have a whole video dedicated to that, and we'll throw it up here. Be sure to check that one out when you're done with this video.
You know how we talked about timing being really important? That also is important for finding a place to stay. For example, where we were getting service work done is where there's big college football games. Notre Dame, basically.
South Bend, Indiana.
Exactly. So, which is right by Elkhart, which is the RV capital of the world, or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is it really put a ding in our booking a place to stay plan.
Because that home game of Notre Dame fell right smack dab in the middle of our stay at the Airbnb. And they're like, I'm sorry. They already had that booked. All the other Airbnbs in the areas were all booked up as well.
Yes, and actually, as we're speaking, I think there's a game. The game is happening right now.
And hence, we're in a hotel.
And I think we're the only people in the hotel right now because everyone that comes here goes to the game, except the Hanks.
Except the Hanks. So plan on being flexible. We are having to be very flexible in the fact that we checked into an Airbnb, we had to check out, go to a hotel, and then tomorrow night we're actually checking out this hotel and going to another Airbnb.
We are. And that's where timing helps, because you can be like, well, I'm not gonna take my RV to get service work done during this time in this area because that's when the annual pumpkin festival's going on.
Totally. Or holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Yeah.
all that. And it's just like, oh my goodness, all the places are all booked up. So
Yes.
you have to be flexible and understand what time frame are you working with and how are you going to work around it.
Actually, the bouncing around for us is not so bad because you're used to doing that in an RV.
Totally. Are you guys used to jumping around like all the time in the RV? And even if you're not currently RV living, throw some comments down below and explain to us what your experience has been with making bookings in hotels. Is
Yeah.
it something that you're like, oh, it's hard? What programs do you guys like to use out there?
Let's talk more about finding a place that's pet friendly and how to like prepare your pet, I think, for this place.
Well, do you have some more tips that you want to bring
Yeah.
or what? What are you throwing down there?
Something that really helped Dexter transition to a new place, because you know how cats are when they go to a new environment.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't like it.
not good.
Bring something from your RV that smells like you, like bring a blanket or just make it smell like your RV in your new place.
I mean, Renee does it to me all the time. If we're checking out somewhere new, she's like, have your blanket, and I'm just like, I'm so comfortable now. Make it a familiar environment for your fur babies. It will just help them feel a little more at ease with being flexible.
So your appointment date is approaching.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you can do to make it easier, because we did not do this and created a lot more work for ourselves. Do yourself a favor and ask the service team what you need to do to your RV for them. We assumed that we had to empty like that whole section where they were gonna replace the sidewall.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay, I was wrong. He was right. He was like, why don't we email them or just call and ask? And I'm like, nope, they're gonna say we need it empty. We gotta take this whole cabinet out. We gotta take this whole stuff out of the slide. Guess what? When they take those slides off, they take the whole slide out.
And they just set it there. So we did all that unnecessary work for no reason at all. But let's touch back just a second ago. Did you just say I was right and you were wrong? Married life, right? Can I get a hashtag married life in the comments below? I mean, come on. So don't go chasing your tail and preparing to bring your RV to the shop. Figure out directly from the source, the service center, what needs to be done.
Yeah, and sometimes they do need like half your RV cleared out.
Yeah.
So call ahead of time and you could plan your life accordingly around all this.
Yes.
Hey, at least our RV is gonna be nice and organized and clean by the time we get it back.
Now that is a positive attitude. I love that.
Yeah. What about packing to leave the RV? Like, what about the things you should bring with?
You, Mrs. Overpacker, me just throws everything in a backpack, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot all these things. So, two different scenarios here.
He forgot like some kind of sweatshirt, so he had to wear his robe like all the time.
Moving along. Balanced into one thing, we both can speak from two different points of views that packing the necessities is key. Because you're not going to be able to pack the whole trailer when you leave your home. You're not going to take everything with you. There's only so much room in the truck. You don't want to be carrying things in and out of every check-in and check-out. And what we mean is when you go to Airbnbs, take into account they're probably going to have things like cooking utensils, pots and pans.
Oh, it'll tell you on the app. Like if you book a place, it'll tell you what amenities they do and do not have.
Way cool. So you can actually prepare for leaving your RV and not overpacking.
Some of these places have a washer and dryer.
Moving along to the actual day of the appointment, when you're dropping off your rig, you need to figure out exactly where you're taking your rig. You don't want to be pulling into unnecessary spots and being like, whoa, 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 you can't put that here, yada, yada, yada.
That's so true.
Figure out exactly from your rep where you need to be taking your rig to get the work done on it.
That's so true, because when you take your car in for service, like if you pull into the wrong spot with your car, you're just like, oh, not here? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You just back up and take it somewhere.
But not with an RV, not with a fifth wheel travel trailer. It's not that easy. So do the diligence beforehand and figure out what time you need to be there and where you're dropping it off.
Bingo bongo. I'm not sure if this is just a grand design thing because they're awesome, but we thought we had to have our whole refrigerator and freezer empty. Once again, I assumed and didn't just communicate with them.
Totally.
It was something they asked us when we checked in to our appointment. They were like, do you have stuff in your refrigerator that needs to stay cold? Like, do we need to keep it plugged in? And I'm like, what? You could have done that?
And we were all worried about defrosting the freezer because we had a lot of buildup on the back. And we're like, we're so sorry. We were really hard pressed for time. We did not get a chance to do that. And they're like, no problem. We'll throw some towels in there. Thanks for letting us know.
That was awesome.
So having that communication with them and just knowing what needs to stay, what needs to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
A lot of these service centers are more and more accommodating to full-time RV living, so they understand that you're gonna have a refrigerator full of goodies.
Another Thanks Hanks tip.
Whoa.
And can I get another Thanks Hanks down in the comments below if you haven't done it already? Because that's really important to us. Because we love you guys. Bam! Thanks Hanks tip. Don't go buying groceries before you take your RV in. Because guess what? You're gonna have to find accommodations to keep those groceries cold while you're transporting over to your other location, your other Airbnb, your hotel. Buy the things you need as you go along.
You know what's great too is if you do need to move stuff from your refrigerator to your next location, you know, sometimes you drop your rig off, but then you can't check into your Airbnb until like 3 o'clock. We don't have a cooler. So we went to Walmart and bought like small styrofoam coolers. And that was great because then we didn't have to go invest in a cooler and we didn't have to worry about all of our refrigerator items getting warm.
And then we could dispose of them after we're done and bada bing, bada boom.
Another issue was, do our tanks need to be completely emptied? You know, we knew we could easily just dump our gray tanks, but do we need to bone dry our black tank?
Exactly. And we talked and reached out to our service center and they said, no problem, we'll take care of doing that for you. So find that out ahead of time.
Communication is key!
Our service center Grand Design is really good about keeping us up to date with how the repairs are going. So if you are falling under that category where you're realizing that these service centers are not like that, they're not keeping that constant communication with you, they're not updating you, sending you details, we got some tips for you.
Email is a great way to keep in contact with them. You get to maintain documentation and then be persistent without being super annoying, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, because you don't want to be calling them every other day and being like, hey, I'm looking for an update. It allows them the flexibility to return your email when they're able to, but at the same time, it allows you to push out and say, hey, we're looking for some updates, hit us up, and it maintains that documentation.
The last thing you want is to drop off your home on wheels that you're waiting to get finished and then you get like no updates.
You're left in the dark and you're wondering what is going on. And now I'm in an unfamiliar environment.
And there's a hump in the bed. I don't know what that is.
Why are these beds so lumpy?
Be your own advocate. I mean, nobody wants this rig fixed more than you do.
And nobody is going to work on it any harder than what you're actually pressing them to get on the ball with.
I'm not saying that the service team isn't going to work hard to make sure your rig is fixed, but you just want to make sure you are facilitating all these conversations. Also, if you're dealing with an insurance claim, you need to be like the communicator, the middleman, the facilitator between them two.
Yeah, the insurance adjuster and the service center. You're gonna fall in the middle and they're gonna be like doing their own things over here. So you have to constantly be on them and being like, what needs to get done? What do we need to work on next? What information do you need from us?
You need to be like the father that's giving away the bride and be like, here, talk to each other.
I do.
If you're looking for more content for RV living, specifically how much does it cost to live in an RV full time for a whole year, we got an awesome video about that.
We'll see you guys next Thursday. Be there or be square, and make sure you subscribe to us because we're bringing it all to you.
We'll see you later, guys.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.